I've got coming in at number 15, the first appearance in my top 20 by Hendrick Motorsports, a driver that you have ranked at 13. And can you guess who that is?
Alex Bowman. I mean, I think both of us would say the weakest Hendrick driver. Not saying he's a bad driver, but just that tier of talent, the weakest. And I can't really criticize any late season stuff because he only got to come back for the very end with his
Mhm.
multiple week concussion protocols. He could show good stuff. I do consider him one of the luckiest drivers with his wins. All luck, no skill. But
Right.
I mean,
Who coined that phrase? Was that Kyle Busch?
I think Kyle Busch said that. All luck, no skill.
Yeah. And then there was something that Denny Hamlin said about him too. Uh,
Then he call him a hack,
the
right?
hack. Yeah, the hack, according to Denny.
Uh,
I'm sure he's hoping for a bounce back season this year. He did make the playoffs. All right, Nick, for your list at number 15, you've got a driver that's going to be in his second full-time season in the Cup Series. You have ranked at number 15, Austin Cindric. I have him at number 13.
Still in the teen range. You know I love Austin Cindric. Still a good first season. Let's hope he continues that growth because he did do really. I mean, he came out and won the Daytona immediately. That'd be
Yes.
crazy if he could pull that off again. But just he's a good driver, not top tier yet, but he's got the skill to win races and get top five, top tens.
I think he'll win at least one this year, maybe more. For a rookie season, by all accounts, it was a success for Austin
Yeah,
Cindric.
for
Do you
sure.
think that this season, 2023, he can be considered more successful than last season?
I think so. I don't think he'll win the Daytona, but like you said, I could see him winning a race, especially like a road course.
So that brings us to number 14. And Nick, you and I both had this driver ranked at number 14 in our rankings coming into the season. And that is driving for Stewart Haas Racing, locked up with them for a few years, Chase Briscoe.
Chase Briscoe. I mean, last season I always considered him like the dud of the playoffs. Like, there's no way he's going to keep going after just the first round, and he did, and then he kept going.
He was
And I,
surviving.
yeah, he was a survivor, and I gotta give him credit for it. And I mean, he's proved himself out there. If he can keep going this, like, he can win another race, no problem. He's got the skill, he's got the car for it.
So Stewart Haas, we got Almirola, Harvick, Briscoe, and who's the other guy? Priest. Is that right? So do you think that Briscoe is Stewart Haas's number one guy now, with this being Harvick's last season?
I'd say I like Harvick. I think he's going to have a good final season, but I think Briscoe is the guy if they're going to have one.
Well, he's their future.
Yeah.
And then it will be interesting as this season plays out to see, who they talk about bringing in for Harvick, to see if Almirola is going to continue on after this season. There might be a lot of changes coming for that team in the next year. Let's get to number 11. And this happens to be number 11 on both of our lists, Nick. Daniel Suarez.
Daniel Suarez. I would argue that Trackhouse team had the best growth season last season. They won 4 races,
I
two
agree.
each. Chastain made it all the way, and Suarez made it, I think, to round of 8, or
Mm-hmm.
it might have been 12. But Suarez is a good driver, and with Chastain, if they both get out there, they can help each other. They can both succeed. I think Chastain's a little better, but Suarez has shown that he's got what it takes to win.
Okay, and I was just checking. Suarez made it to the round of 12. Like I asked you for Cindric, do you think that Suarez can take another step forward this season?
I hope so. It is a lot because I mean he won 2 races, so he'd
Mhm.
at least have to win 2 more and get some top fives. I think it's possible with what their team can achieve. I'd like to see it happen, but I wouldn't put all my faith in him to have a better season.
So this brings us to Nick, your number 12. And we were a little bit far apart on this guy. You've got Denny Hamlin coming in at 12th. 12th for Denny Hamlin?
Yeah, I that probably is one of my most controversial takes on my list. I mean, there's a little bit of personal bias. I just don't like Denny Hamlin. I still I think this is going to be a worse season than him. He did have a pretty bad start last season and came around and started winning.
Yeah, he
Like
had a
he
terrible start last
very
season.
yeah, very bad start. I don't think it's gonna start as rough, but I don't think that Denny Hamlin is gonna be as well versed in winning or getting these top fives that he was last season. I think he is gonna be a bust pick for a guy that's gonna win races or go to the playoffs.
Well, it seemed like as in the second half or the later part of last season, it seems like Joe Gibbs' team as a whole, maybe with one guy as an exception, just was not performing. And like I said, I think it could go really well in the end, or it could go poorly.